Hey guys, it's Mia. I'm not usually one to share personal stories, especially not like this, but what I'm about to tell you really happened to me and my family. I've tried to forget it, tried to convince myself it was just some horrible dream, but the truth is I can't shake it. This is the story of how my family and I barely escaped with our lives from a house that should never have been lived in. So it all started when we moved into this old mansion. My parents have been saving up for years, and when they found this place on the market for a ridiculously low price, they jumped at the chance. It was this huge, beautiful house tucked away in the woods, totally isolated. I thought it was kind of creepy at first, but my parents were so excited, so I didn't say anything. The first few days were fine. The house was old and a little rundown, but it had this weird charm. I spent a lot of time exploring, finding all these hidden rooms and narrow hallways. But then, things started to get strange. It was the third night when I first heard it. I was lying in bed, trying to sleep, when I heard this faint whisper. At first, I thought it was just the wind or the house settling, the usual old house noises. But the more I listened, the more I realized it was different. It wasn't just a sound, it was a voice. A voice whispering my name. Mia. I froze. My heart started pounding, and I sat up in bed, straining to hear. The whisper came again, soft and barely audible, but it was definitely coming from the wall right next to me. I got up and pressed my ear to the wall, thinking maybe there was something on the other side, but it was just solid wood and plaster. I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, I told my parents about it, but they just laughed it off, saying it was probably just the old pipes or maybe even my imagination. But then my little brother, Max, said he heard the same thing, someone whispering his name in the middle of the night. That's when I knew it wasn't just me. Over the next few days, the whispers got worse. They started happening during the day too, and it wasn't just in my room anymore. We could hear them in the hallways, the living room, even the kitchen. And it wasn't just our names. The voices started talking about things. Personal things that no one outside our family could possibly know. Secrets that we had never told anyone. One night, I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth when the lights flickered, and I heard the whisper again, louder this time. It was right behind me, and when I looked up into the mirror, I saw something that made my blood run cold. The reflection behind me was wrong. It was like a shadow was standing in the corner of the room, just out of view, but when I turned around, there was nothing there. That's when I started to lose it. The house felt like it was closing in on me. The walls seemed to pulse with this low, rhythmic sound, almost like a heartbeat. And the whispers, they were constant now, like 1,000 voices all talking at once. I couldn't take it anymore. I begged my parents to leave, but they were stubborn. They said it was just our imaginations, that we were letting the old house get to us. But I could see it in their eyes. They were scared too. They just didn't want to admit it. Then one night, it all came to a head. We were having dinner, trying to act normal, even though none of us had been sleeping. That's when we all heard it. This deep, guttural voice that was nothing like the whispers we'd been hearing. It was loud, angry, and it seemed to be coming from all around us. You cannot leave. The lights in the house flickered and then went out, plunging us into darkness. I've never been so scared in my life. We grabbed flashlights and huddled together in the living room, trying to figure out what to do. That's when we heard the sound of footsteps. Heavy, dragging footsteps coming from the hallway. My dad grabbed a kitchen knife, and we all stood there, waiting for whatever it was to come through the door. But instead of a person, we saw the walls start to move. The wallpaper was peeling away, revealing these dark, twisted shapes underneath, like figures trapped behind the walls, writhing and pushing against the plaster. The whispers turned into screams. My mom finally snapped and screamed at us to get out. We ran for the front door, but it wouldn't budge. The whole house seemed to be alive, breathing, pulsing with this dark energy that was holding us captive. In a panic, my dad smashed a window with a chair, and we all scrambled out into the night. We didn't stop running until we were halfway down the road, too scared to even look back. We spent the night in a motel and never went back to that house. My parents got a lawyer and tried to figure out what was wrong with the place, but no one could explain it. The history of the house was a mess of rumors and half-truths. The only thing we know for sure is that the previous owners disappeared without a trace, and the house had been abandoned for decades. Since that night, we've tried to move on, but sometimes when I'm alone and it's quiet, I swear I can still hear the whispers. I don't know what was in that house, but I do know one thing. I'll never forget the way those walls screamed. So yeah, if you ever come across a place that gives you even the slightest bad vibe, trust your instincts and stay away. You never know what might be waiting for you inside.